On this Elgin Today update, we're delighted to be at the Hemmons Cultural Center. We have the director of the Hemmons Cultural Center, Butch Wellhummy, and you are almost all smiles because the renovation is almost over.
Smiling more than I was a couple of months ago. Yeah, we're hopefully just about a month away from total completion here, and it's been a long year.
That's great. Well, you're going to see lots of great things. You've got some things planned when we finally get ready again.
Yeah, in addition to having a new lobby and office and dressing room space that we're adding, we are going to be bringing back a presenting season, which we haven't done since 2012. So we're going to have some Broadway, we're going to have some magic, some Cirque-style performance, just kind of a little bit of everything in the last half of our season here.
And this reservation, the renovation means so much. We'll have the washroom right here on this floor.
Yeah. So big things are we have washrooms on this level.
Yeah.
We're going to have elevator access to the balcony and washrooms on the balcony level as well. We get a new reception space in the second level. And it's a lovely space. It's got a balcony outside. That balcony doubles as a cover for the drop-off area and for our box office, which is moving so that we'll have access from inside and outside to the box office in that new area. And then down in the basement, we just about double our dressing room space, and we get some much-needed storage. So we'll be able to get all the different tables and chairs out of all the rooms we shouldn't have them in.
Well, the performers will love that new space in the...
Yeah, it'll be really nice, and we'll be able to spread out. And even with our regular renters, even dance schools and stuff like that, can use that extra space.
When we drive to the south and we see that new section there, the glasswork is incredible.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's really nice.
It is. The original architect who did the schematic design, Peppa, did a great job of staying true to the original architecture of the building with the exposed steel beams, lots of glass, and then Cordigan Clark and Associates, who are taking it to the finish line, have really built it out very nicely.
It does. As you drive up there, it's beautiful. You're in a big city type atmosphere.
It's really nice, yeah. And again, it stays true to the architecture. It gives us much needed space for patron comfort, for performer comfort, for office efficiency. One of the big things for us is our current offices are down in our basement. So when we're open during the day, we have to open up the entire building.
Yeah.
Once this is done, all we're going to have to do is open up that new space, unless we are preparing for a show or rehearsal or something like that.
When you open up the front door, all the folks go down there and mob you, don't they?
We keep high. Yeah, exactly.
Are you a performer?
I am not a performer. Yeah.
Well, we're excited whether the folks are waiting for this.
I think we're all ready for it, yeah. Again, we've been working on it for a year. Our renters, the ESO, the dance schools, the different people that have been coming in have been super patient.
That's great.
And adapted with us as all of a sudden we've got a wall that's splitting our lobby in half. We've been without a elevator since the spring. And so basically what we've done for elevator access to the bathrooms, which are all on the lower level.
That's wonderful.
We bought a handicap golf cart that allows us to ramp people onto the golf cart and then take them downstairs to the restroom. So
he looked at me when he said golf cart. I can still get around a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah. But if you want, I mean, it's a fun ride anyway.
So if we're aboard. We're aboard for that. You talk that, you can't tell us who it is, but you've got a great, Broadway.
We have a Broadway star coming in January. So again, we're working out the final details. Our program manager, Tony Lentino, has been working since he joined our team in July to get seasons put together. So we're going to have Broadway. We're bringing ESO in to back up this performer.
They'll love that.
It'll be a good time. We've got a magician coming in. We've got some school shows coming in. A lot of stuff just trying to pack into the early part of next year.
As always, this will be the exciting place to be with these editions. No question.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just our regular schedule. In December, we're going to have our regular Nutcracker provided by M3 Dance, the ESO holiday concerts, ESO through next year, and all the different dance recitals and stuff like that. So there's always something going on here, just about.
Let's go back to 1969.
1969.
When you were younger, probably not even born yet.
I was not. I was born, but I was not involved in any part of the building. So people keep trying to blame me for the original design. I was 4. So
but this was a nationally known act that came to town to open this venue in '69.
Correct. Ferrantini and Teichner are pianists. At that time, they were huge names and a big snag for Elgin to get them for the opening concert.
They actually had a song, I believe it was on the top 40, musically speaking. It was in that time frame. They were getting a little pat.
Yeah, and again, they were nationally renowned, internationally renowned for that matter at the time. Yep.
We plan to bring them back. They're only like 92 years old. Can we bring them back?
We'll have to work on that one. Yeah.
The piano will appear. How about that?
We could get the piano maybe, but getting them here might be a bit of a harder.
Butch, we're delighted to talk with you. It's the most exciting information and news in town with the expansion and growth of this and the fun things it'll be.
Yeah, we are an anchor downtown for entertainment. This allows us to heighten the experience of the people who are coming here. We still have a great theater. We're not changing that. We're always making minor improvements here and there. We have our exhibit space downstairs that we also use as a cabaret performance area. Now we're going to have a better reception area. We're looking at maybe trying to bring in open mic nights and small things up there as well. Better access to the building with the covered drop-off and more parking in front. So
we can't wait.
I can't wait.
We can't wait. I once introduced Sha Na Na here in the 90s.
Yep, absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah, they were. Sha Na Na was here. We've had
Kansas was here.
Kansas was here. We've had the Nylons. We've had Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson.
Whoa, you're big time now. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
So
we could go on
Bob
for hours.
Newhart. Yeah, I mean, we could. Victor
Smothers
Borga,
Brothers?
some other brothers were here. Yeah, so. Yeah, we've had a lot of acts, and again, that's what we're building back up our season.
If we had 30 minutes, we'd continue.
Yeah.
Butch Wilhelmy, director right here at the Hemmons, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For our next segment here on Elgin Today, we're delighted to talk with Kimberly Dewis. And Kimberly, you are one of the busiest ladies around. You're a city clerk, and the boards and commissions, that's your reason for being here, isn't it?
Yes, today that is my reason for being here. The boards and commissions are a very important role in the city of Elgin. We have volunteers that provide recommendations and policy recommendations to the city council. And they are just a vital role, and they can apply on our website.
Wonderful. So they would come to you because a lot of citizens are involved, want to be involved, so
Yes.
you'd be able to tell them, come to your second floor office. Is that right?
Yes, I'm on the second floor. If they have any questions, they can certainly come to me, call the office, and there is a lot of information on the website about it. There's a listing of the different commissions, what they do, vacancies, they can apply there. There's just all kinds of information there if I'm not available.
Before we mention all the particular ones, vacancies are important, and you always have openings, don't you?
A lot of times we do. Right now there's only 2. Most of the vacancies occur in the spring. That's when a lot of the terms end. However, there are a lot of reasons why people might need to step down from their role as a board or commissioner. So.
And you're dealing with city folks. Folks come in and say, I want to be part of this.
Yes. We love that there are so many people in the city of Elgin that want to volunteer and be part of the government, and this is just one way to do that.
And so many boards and commissions. You must be talking with folks all the time.
Well, I do talk to folks all the time. I think right now we have about 9 boards and commissions that people can volunteer for, yes.
Just tell me some of those.
Oh, gosh. We have a Planning and Zoning Commission, Cultural Arts Commission, Sustainability, Heritage Commission. There's just all sorts.
A lot, and folks don't always realize that we can be so involved with the city that we can.
Yes, for sure. And it can be something that is key to your skills, talents,
Sure.
whatever you might want to be involved in.
What's one of the most popular ones folks want?
Oh gosh, I would have to say the cultural arts and sustainability are the 2 most popular right now.
You can be theatrical.
Yeah, sure, sure. But if somebody's that interested, they might want to talk to the staff liaisons, which are also listed on the website. They can kind of give them an idea of what projects or things they're involved in right now, or what time is involved in serving on that commission. They could do that. They could go to a meeting. Any of those things would be great, so they can kind of get a feel for what they would actually be working on.
We've seen the website, so we know how that's involved. We've seen that already.
Yes.
So that's wonderful with that. And again, they would have to come to you.
Yes, all the applications, which is found again on the website, they come through my office. We just take a quick look to see if all the information is there, and once that's completed and we have a vacancy, we would forward that on to the City Council for their consideration for appointment.
Kimberly, tell me why it's important to join the board of the commission.
Well, it's one way to volunteer your time, and it's great to have that voice in local government. It's just another way to make sure that what you're interested in and what you want to see happen in your town come to fruition.
What their talents are and what,
Yes,
how
exactly.
they can serve.
Yes, exactly. There's just so many ways that you can serve. Like I said, we have so many different topics and areas that people can just lend their talents to, and just make the city of Elgin even a better place to live.
Yeah, you're the busiest gal in town. You're a city clerk, but
I'm busy.
You're in paperwork or talking constantly, aren't you?
Goodness, yes. Very busy, very busy.
Well, we congratulate you on the great work that is. It's exciting,
Thank you.
and I know the city folks love it.
Oh, yes, they do. They love being involved, which is great.
And you do too.
Yes.
Well, boards and commissions are in good hands with you, my dear.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kimberly. We're at Elgin Public Works. We get ready for the winter season. We have Jerry Merritt here. And Jerry, you've got that great title. You're crew leader, street division.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been with the City of Elgin for 8 years now, crew leader for the last 3.
We're already in December, so you guys have been prepping for a while for the season, haven't you?
We have. We started in October. It was about the second week in October. We started getting all our frontline trucks ready to go and started training with newer staff and retraining some of the older staff to just give everybody a reminder.
Wonderful. So you're, no matter what happens, we haven't had a lot of snow lately, but you're always prepped for a big guy, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. We've had snow on Halloween, so we got to be ready for it.
How many plows do we have on the street normally?
For a typical event, we'll have 26 plows out on the street. We'll have 18 residential routes and 6 main routes. And then typically we'll have a shovel crew additionally out.
You got a lot of work.
Yeah.
When we see snow, you got work.
That's absolutely right.
There's no question about that.
We don't play around. It's the way we go.
Say we have one of our classic storms, like the old days, like 10 inches of snow. You get on the street quick, don't you?
Absolutely. We'll be on the street in less than an hour.
Wonderful.
Once snow starts flying, we get our phone calls and we start calling everybody in less than 60 minutes, everybody's on the street getting ready to go.
All folks are always wondering, how quick do you guys, I'm Grant's looking out her window, where are those trucks? How quick on the streets are you?
It's about an hour.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. We watch the weather. We kind of have a heads up that it's all coming, and we don't mess around. We plan for it in advance.
You must have a lot of trucks. How many snow routes are you guys looking at?
We have 26 routes, 18 residential routes, and 6 mains.
All right, so they keep you working, don't they?
Yeah, we start with the mains right off the bat, and we'll have trucks going, and at the same time we'll have trucks in residential routes to try and keep things flowing as best we can.
We get a good snowstorm, like 3 to 5 inches. What's your first action? What do you do?
I usually get my phone call, and then I start calling everybody in for the plow drivers.
All right. And you got lots of staff and equipment, like you mentioned.
Absolutely. We got everything. We've got, if it gets really bad, we've got loaders, we've got snow blowers, we've got wing plow trucks that are always out on the mains. So we've got everything we need.
You are always ready. We want to stress that. You guys are always ready for snow.
Always ready. Like I said, we start in October.
That's good. That's good. And how many years have you been working here?
8.
And you like it, don't you?
Yeah,
Love it?
I love it. 8 years in Public Works and 3 years at the Street Division crew leader.
Now, I'm the average citizen, and I start thinking, how do I prepare for, one of these seasons where we're going to have 20 inches of snow or somewhere along the line? How do I prepare for the colder weather?
Well, for one, try and watch for these big plows.
And stay out of their way?
Stay out of their way. They do go slower. They're trying to get things cleaned up and get things moving. So at one event, we could have 78 people out working.
Sure.
So we want to keep everybody, our guys, safe, and we want to keep the public safe and keep moving.
And with those big storms, I should get my car out of the street, shouldn't I? So you can work.
Yes.
That's
the
key, isn't it?
If you have the space to move your car off the street, absolutely. Let's move it off the street, and that gives us a better opportunity to do a better job of clearing the street and making things easier for you guys.
It sounds like you're ready to go. Again, if we have those big storms, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Elgin, kind of by Wing Park, yeah.
Well, you know some of the big storms as your youngsters. Then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How'd you want to get involved with this, the Public Works?
You know what? It's always been one of the things where I like working with my hands, and being here at Public Works, that's one of those one of those things where, especially in the street department, it switches.
Yeah.
For every season, you got a different job, and it's one of those things that I like.
With Aaron Neal and the crew, you got a great crew here, don't you?
We do. Everybody here takes their job serious, and they love what they do.
And Aaron's been around for a long years, so he knows the ropes, doesn't he?
He does, absolutely. He's the whole top of the food chain when it comes to Snow Command, and he knows what he's doing.
Well, Jerry Merritt, we appreciate you talking with us. It's great to see you. This is a great, you have so many trucks here, don't you?
We do. We've got 26 on the main line, and we've got about 10 spares just in case something goes wrong.
10 spares. 10 spares, that's great.
Yep.
All right. Well, the spares always, do you ever use the spares?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially as it gets further on in the year, something breaks, we got to keep moving. We can't wait for trucks to get fixed. Switch it out, get another truck, and keep going.
You see a snow ply, we're ready to go. Jerry, it's been our delight to talk with you. Congratulations, you guys have done great work, and I know Public Works will be ready for this winter season upcoming.
Absolutely. Let it snow.
Let it snow, let it snow. We'll leave it with that. Can we sing? Let it snow, let it snow.
Let it
Time now for our December edition with Mayor David Campton. Mayor, you've got a busy day for us, don't you?
We do, Jeff. Welcome to December, and with us today is Mark Malat, our Director of Community Development, and we're going to talk about how Elgin's growing and kind of brush into it a little bit and talk about a little bit of the projects here. But I want to start out with something I think that's comes up a lot in conversations with people and for the residents. How does the development happen in the city of Elgin? So I'm going to create a hypothetical here. I'm walking into Mark's office, and I'm going to tell him I have my eye on a piece of property. I'd like to build a 12-unit apartment building, and I have a couple $1 million. Tell me what the process is, all the way from today until the time my project will come before the city council for final approval.
Wow, this is like a normal day at work for you.
It is. It is. We get those all the time, and if we're lucky, that's what happens because we love to meet with folks ahead of time. We want to make sure that we can identify any issues they may experience, whether in the building permit process or the zoning process, right out of the gate. So what we'll do is we'll pull in whoever is necessary by way of staff. That will typically include our engineers, that'll include the fire department, police department, and of course the planning and zoning folks. And we'll sit down and we'll go over those plans and we'll give them early feedback. A lot of the feedback will depend upon what we get from them. But if it's those early phases, Mayor, where you bring in those plans, we'll talk to you about the appropriateness in terms of the location, the height, the density. Do you have any trees on the property? Where are you going to put your stormwater? How many parking spaces? And we'll give all that information to those folks up front. It's really a dialogue so that the developer can take that information, digest it, make any amendments, and then we'll talk to them about what's the formal approval process. What will they need if they do have to go before the Planning and Zoning Commission? Maybe they need a departure. Maybe the building is proposed too close to a setback. Maybe they don't have the number of parking spaces that the zoning ordinance requires. Those are all things that, depending upon the development, depending upon where it's located, we can typically work through, and we will work through them. So we'll walk them through that process. We'll tell them what they need, what are the timelines, what are the fees, and and then it'll be up to the developer. And that's where a lot of the clock, that clock ticks because people will say, well, I'm waiting on the city. Well, a lot of that is taking that information that we get, digesting it, then meeting with their design professionals. And a lot of that is related to how good are those architects, those engineers that they then hire. And then when we get that submittal back, we'll review it formally. If it does need a departure, needs to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, we'll walk them through that process as well. Public hearing, signs on the property, notices in the newspaper, notices mailed to the neighbors, then most often one meeting before the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's not very common. I would say it's been at least 4 or 5 years that I can remember an application didn't come through the Planning and Zoning Commission in one meeting. And that's in large part because we do those meetings with folks ahead of time. So they know what they need to address, they know what they'll need going into that meeting, and we can get them through as fast as possible. We understand that in their mind, time is money, and we want to get them through as quickly as possible, which is why we love to have those meetings early and walk them through this. Once they get out of the Planning and Zoning Commission, then it comes to the mayor's desk. There'll be 2 meetings at the city council meeting, first for consideration and second for the legislation. After that, they're free to submit for their building permit.
Mark's a busy man, isn't he?
He is. And people think that the city goes out and we look for shoe stores, or we decide we need this type of thing. It's not really doesn't work that way. People come in and they have a vision in their mind of what they would like to do. They want to start a business, or they want to build an apartment building, and they might go out and drive around and identify a piece of property where they'd like to go, and it's got to work through the process. Typically, Mark, just a seat of the pants guess, how long does it take from the first day until the process gets completed for a reasonable timeline?
Sure. What we tell folks, Mayor, is usually 60 to 90 days. And again, a lot of that is on then the applicant and the developer's team. And if they have good folks working with them, they'll be much closer to the 60 than to the 90. So
How big the project is.
absolutely, the complexity. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
So you're a busy man all the time, aren't you?
We're
do you
very
get much
busy.
rest?
We do a lot of late nights around here, but that's okay. We love what we're doing. We're making positive impact and growing Elgin.
Great. He does a wonderful job.
And and people say, well, gee, how come it took so long to do that? We finally get the building is up or finally completed, but the rest of it becomes the contractor, the engineers have to come in, and the actual get down to the nuts and bolts of building the building.
Sure.
And sometimes that can take years. And we're going through that all the time. So from the day that somebody comes in, it might be 7 or 8 years before the building is occupied.
Sometimes money becomes a different factor, too, in that time frame.
Oh, absolutely. Money changes a lot. And sometimes we've seen projects that were started many, many years ago. I'll use an example as Shodine. I was on Planning Commission when that came in to Elgin, and with the annexation and the property. So that's almost 20 years ago, and they still haven't built a home out there yet. But they're to the point now that they're moving on.
Yeah.
But it ran through some issues with financing and the economy, and they slowed down, a recession, so a lot of things happen. One thing I think that, let's move on a little bit and talk about some of the projects that are going on. We look at different places. We look at our new growth and new housing out on the far west. Mm-hmm. We also are doing some apartments and some things downtown that are in the process of being completed. So, Mark, give us a little bit of rundown. How many people are talking about the fact that we don't have much housing? How are we doing? How are we doing as a community in comparison to some of the others around us?
That West has really burst out lately.
It really is, and Elgin is regularly in the top 10 in terms of single-family home starts in the entire state of Illinois. The mayor was talking about how Elgin is a fast-growing community. We added 6,600 people in the last census, moved from 8th largest city in the state up to 6th largest city in the state. So we're absolutely growing. Over the last 3 years or so, we issued more than 250 single-family home permits each of those last 3 years. So the majority of those are certainly out in the far west of Randall Road. The mayor mentioned Shodine's development out in Pingree Creek. We're hoping that we'll actually see houses coming out of the ground in 2025. They're going to be rebuilding Highland Avenue, and they're determining right now how many single-family home lots are they going to plat with that. We've got an apartment complex coming out of the ground right now. If people drive by Randall and Hops, there's 280 apartments coming out of the ground right now. We've got a bunch of single-family homes. Lennar and D.R. Horton and M.I. Homes are all building in various subdivisions out west, from the ponds of Stony Creek in the far southwest part of the city, up at West Point Gardens, where D.R. Horton is taking down the final phase up there. Highland Woods is close to being built out. So there's certainly a lot going on just the residential front. And then, notwithstanding downtown, as the mayor suggested, 40 DuPage Court, which was a public-private partnership. We're hoping those 40 apartments are going to open here around May of next year.
Right, because DuPage Court right next to them. Right?
Absolutely. And we're getting more and more interest in developers looking at city properties that we have. For the old Crocker Theater site, the old library site south of Kimball, and North Grove redevelopment plan is hoping to come back to city council here in a couple months.
That's great. So west and east, we're doing well.
We are well. We're doing very well. And I think that one of the important things is that we're looking at a diverse community. And so the housing that we're talking about is not all market rate or some that's affordable. We're having what I call focused housing through AID and through the Hanover Landing that was just completed, or for people that have health issues. Sure. And they're going to be managed, and they receive money from the federal government, and they'll be managed by people to help people live a better life. And it opens up a number of different places for housing across the board, and I think that's kind of really a blessing for the city of Elgin. It's not all one. We're not all just focused on one thing. And Mark, one last thing is when we start building homes here, what about industries that start to look at Elgin and commercial development as well?
We've got about 90 seconds for you, young man.
Sure. Well, the big areas where we're seeing a lot of businesses come into are along our Randall Road corridor. Nissan is opening, it's under construction right now, a new dealership in the Auto Mall. We've got a Holiday Inn Express that's going in just on the southwest corner of that intersection, 90 and Randall. We've got a new Starbucks that is opening in front of the Rousseau Power Landscaping Equipment right there on Randall Road. So there's a lot going on. We're almost victims of our own success. There's such a low vacancy rate along the Randall Road corridor that it's proving difficult for people to try and find a lot of space. And then on the industrial side, we're seeing heavy interest from warehouse and distribution facilities, trucking facilities, and so all of our sectors are really going strong.
How far west can we go?
Our planning area, and we have just renegotiated our boundary agreements all the way out to Route 47.
Oh my, that's what we always heard, Mayor.
It is, and it's we go out quite a ways to the west, and we're just touching on some of the things here. And this December 11th, I'll be doing the State of the City address, and they'll be able to watch that. That'll be videoed, and you can look at that on the city's website when that's completed. Or if you feel really energetic, come out for an early breakfast through the chamber and as be part of that. And I'll be talking more and more about development, and we'll highlight some of the things that are the really good things that are going on in our community.
Mark, you're so busy. That was the quickest 10 minutes we've ever had. Congratulations.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Ran out of time before we ran out of land.
There we go. Thanks,
Mayor
Jeff.
Mark.
We'll look forward to seeing you next month.
That's our episode with Mayor David Kaplan and guests.